Good morning, everyone. Is it audible to everyone? So, hello, everyone. Can you just confirm? Is it audible? Is it clear? Right. Okay, good. So, um, any doubts related to these concepts and all? At the end of session, I will take all the doubts from you. I can individually talk with you. I can individually talk with you at the end of session. So, during the session, you keep noted about your doubts if you have any. At end of session, you please let me know so that I can interact with you individually and clarify your doubts if you have any doubts related to this. So thank you very much for registering for this session. And this session is about giving you a complete clarity on how to plan your career as a full stack UI developer. Actually, this is a master class for giving you a complete roadmap about how to become a UI developer and what are the technologies, concepts you need to learn. So our aim is to educate all the freshers, experienced people about the technologies they need to be perfect in order to get jobs as UI developers. So this is completely about the concepts of UI full stack with React.js. I will give a complete roadmap of what you need to learn, what are the technologies involved, how much you need to learn every concept. Those detailed topics I will explain here. So, and this is targeted towards people with any kind of background. Either you are technical background, non-technical background, and you want to start your career as a developer in IT technologies, or you are already a developer working in various technologies and now you want to shift the career into web development UI. Even for experienced people, the level of concept, what they need to know from basic to advanced, everything I will give a complete roadmap here. So this is for from basic learner to an experienced expert in technology. So anyone can understand the concept of how to become a modern UI developer. What are the technologies we need to know? Actually, to become a modern UI developer. So first important, you need to understand what is the concept of UI. So I hope majority of people have a general awareness. So can you just tell me what is the concept of UI? What is UI? Can you tell what you know about UI? You people. So what is the concept of UI? So everyone have a basic idea of user interface, right? Uh, right. Okay. Yep. So UI interacts very good. You can just message what you have. Very good. User interface. Okay. Okay. Good. Good. So I will give a complete clarity on the technologies that you need to know to become a UI full stack developer. Yeah. So I will give a clarity on what are the technologies you need to understand. Full stack developers. So this concept is to make you aware of what you need to learn. What are the concepts you need to understand? Actually, I will give a simple overview of what is meant by full stack development. Then I will give you clarity about the concepts we need to learn here. So what is full stack web development? You need to understand the basic concept. Suppose I will give a simple overview of the full stack web development. So the basic architecture of web full stack. I will give a simple architecture of web full stack. You people join the community of WhatsApp so that whatever the diagrams, notes, and presentation I am showing, you can get it from that community. WhatsApp community is posted into the chat box. You can go through that. So let's take an example of simple how the web full stack works. What is the basic concept? I will show one example here. Suppose we are having Google. Google is a search engine, and in Google, I am searching for some topic. Suppose I am searching from some topic like JavaScript. JavaScript is some topic, and you can see it will give you some information about JavaScript, some details about JavaScript. I am searching for images, and you can see a lot of images are coming from various sources. Now the first question is, can you tell me here from where all this information is coming, where this information is present, from where all this information is coming? Can you tell where all the information is coming from? So this is the information, and from where all this information is coming from. Okay, okay, good. Actually, all this information is coming from a computer. So usually we call this as, all this information is coming from a computer. Usually we call it as data center. We call it as data center. Data center is the location from where all the information is coming. Actually, it is coming from a computer, and that computer is data center. So data centers, I hope you people have seen data center. There are various data centers. For example, I will show you here. Observe here, we have YouTube. On YouTube, we will search for Google data center. You see, this is Google's data center. You can observe, this is the Google data center. You, you can see the Google data center. You can see this is the Google data center. You can see the Google data center here. Inside the data center, you can see all this content. Inside the data center, you can see all this. This is the data center. That means this is the location from where actually all the data is coming from. So data center is the location where all your data is kept. All the information is kept here. These are data centers. Data centers are very huge. This is the hard disks where the data is kept. This is the complete data center. That is the data center of Google officially. So data is coming from data center. In data center, actually the data is kept in a software called, it is kept in a software called database. In data center, data is kept in a software called database. And we have databases like MongoDB. We have like MySQL. We have databases like Oracle. These are all different databases. Oracle, like different types of databases we have. Data is in the data center, and in data center, data is kept in a database. That is the database software. How this data comes to us, that means how this data is receivable to you, how client can see the data. Actually, the communication between the maintained by, it is maintained by application center. It is actually maintained by application center. We have an application center. We have data center and we have application center. In application center, we design the business logic. Actually, here we design the business logic. And this business logic is responsible for handling communication with the database, get the data from the database, and send the data to the user. That means user makes a request, and this will send the response, the data to the client. Remember, this is just a high level design, just a simple overview. When you learn the technology, you will understand more concept in depth into this. So data is present in data center. In data center, data is kept in a database. In database, we store the data. We access the data and we handle the data using business logic. Usually, this business logic is designed by using technologies like JSP, PHP, ASP, Python, Node.js. All these are used in the business logics. We create the concept of APIs. Through API, we communicate with the data. I will explain all these technical terms detailedly. One by one, you will understand. And usually, client makes a request. And when client makes a request, this will send the response. The data is sent as a response. So client is making the request and the data is sent as a response. As a response, the data comes. This is just an overview. You can detailedly understand step by step how this works. And it is this diagram I will post to you, just an overview. In detail later, you will understand the complete architecture once you start learning the technology. So here, the data is kept in data center. The communication from data center is managed by application. This application sends the data to the client. And actually, API sends the data in the format of JSON and XML. This data need to be understandable to client. And to make the data understandable to client, so UI developers have to use various technologies. By using various technologies, they need to present the data and handle interaction with the data. This is a simple basic point. That means data is kept in data store, that is data center. Through application center, we communicate with it, and client will use the data. Client wants to interact with the data, he will manage the interactions with the data from the UI. So in this concept, actually, we call this part the application and data center. Usually we call this part as backend. We usually call it as backend. We generally call this as backend. And the part that user interface, and we call this part as frontend. We call this as frontend. So remember, this is just a introduction. Once you learn the technology, you will understand more detail about it. Just I am giving a clarity on just backend and frontend. And a full stack developer means he must have knowledge of both front end and back end. he must have a complete clarity on front end and back end. So this master class is about how to become a full stack developer. Full stack developer means in front end what you need to learn, in back end what you need to learn, what concepts you need to understand detailedly. If you know that, then you can start your career as a web UI full stack developer, because there are a lot of opportunities for web developers. At the end, I will tell you about them. So technically, this master class is about what are the technologies you need to learn and understand to become a full stack developer. So what is the role of full stack developer? He can handle both backend and front end. So this architecture, this diagram, the concepts, the technologies, you don't need to worry. Just you need to understand the concept of backend and front end. So front end is about the user interface. Backend is about the data and the communication with the data. I hope everyone understood up to this part. Is it clear to everyone? Everyone understood up to this part, right? Is it clear? Everyone have a clarity on what is front end and back end, right? Good, good, very good. So my intention is just to explain you that web full stack means a combination of both front end and back end, a combination of both front end and back end. Now, as a learner, what technologies you need to learn, what concepts in those technologies you need to learn to become a perfect UI full stack developer. These you need to understand, because generally people learn full stack development, and when they learn full stack development in various technologies without having a clarity on certain topics, if you learn, then you will face issues in jobs. That means while working in companies and while dealing with interviews, you will face a lot of issues. So that is the reason my intention is to give you an idea of what you need to be perfect as a full stack developer, what concepts, what technologies you need to learn. Once you have a clarity on that, then you can join any full stack development course and you can become a full stack developer. So for that, I will give you the complete idea of the technologies that we need to understand, we need to learn. I will give an idea about those technologies. So let's start this concept. So I just explained you that this class is about what technologies and concept you need to learn to become a UI full stack developer. So first, the basic concept is to become a full stack UI developer. There is no limit of education qualification related to technical and non-technical background. Actually, to become a UI full stack developer, you can come from any background, either technical background or non-technical background. There is no issue in that. You can handle easily the concepts. Both technical and non-technical people can easily manage and even crack the jobs and can become perfect in development. So you have any doubts at the end of the session, I will take doubts and I will talk to you. If you have any doubts at the end, I will talk to you. Everyone individually, we can discuss. So how you have to start UI development, what you need to learn. Let's see one by one. So the full stack development is classified into how many? Into two categories. What are those? The full stack development is divided into two categories. What are those? Tell me, everyone. The full stack development is categorized into two. What are those? The front end and back end. Good, very good. So it is categorized into front end and back end. Okay, good, good. Front end and back end. Now let's see. Yeah, good, good. Now let's see what concepts we need to learn. how to become a perfect full stack UI developer. So with React like concepts, let's see. First step, actually, we will start our career. We will start our career with full stack development. That means we will start with front end development. We categorize the course into two actually. Yeah, we categorize the course into two. One is front end, another one back end. And as a front end developer, what are the concepts you need to learn? What are the topics you need to understand? I will give a overview of the topics. Actually, as a front end developer, first we need to start understanding about what is internet, because you are learning, you are going to learn or going to become a web developer, and web is related to internet. So technically, every developer need to understand what is the concept of internet, what is internet, how internet works, and what is web, how the web concept works. And in the web, there are so many concepts to understand. I hope you people know the difference between internet and web. Do you have idea? You know, you know what is a web? You people can tell, can you tell what is web? What is web? How you define the concept of web? How you define the concept of web? Actually, actually, web is a portion of web is a portion of web is a portion of internet with restricted access. Tim Berners-Lee introduced the concept of web. Web standards are maintained by W3C. Web standards, web principles are maintained by W3C. Good, good. Everyone have a good idea definition. But I will remember the terms, the concepts that you know may be general. To crack interviews, and to become a perfect developer, you need to have technical knowledge. That means you need to give the technical definitions, not general definitions. When you talk with an interviewer, he can easily identify that you are not well experienced in the technology according to the definitions and terms you speak. Because a topic in general is different and a topic technical is different. What is our idea is to understand technically what is the concept, technically perfectly what is the definition. We need to understand that. So in web UI full stack, you have to start understanding from what is internet, how internet works, what is web, how web works, what are various protocols. Protocols like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, TCP, IP, why protocols are used, what protocols are required for handling different communications. For example, do you know on internet for web pages, transferring web pages, accessing websites, we use protocol like HTTP, HTTPS. These are the protocols we use. So do you know which protocol is used for emails? Anybody? Do you know which protocol is used for email? Protocol means rules. Protocol defines some rules. So which protocol is used for emails? Very good. Emails follow SMTP, Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Yeah, very good, very good. So you need to understand all the rules, all the concepts of all the rules and all the concepts of protocols. Which protocol, when to use, how to use all this information. You need to understand what is a domain. You need to understand what is hosting, and you need to learn about what are various web components. I hope you people know you are if you are trying to become a web developer, you should know that what is the job of a web developer? What a web developer builds? Can you tell what a web developer builds? What a web developer usually builds? Good, good, good. Actually, you should know that. That means, yeah, very good, very good. Yeah, actually, you should know that web is not about web is not about just web is not about just websites. Very good, very good. But you should know that web is not about websites. Web is not about websites. Actually, web contains lot of things. So web contains lot of things. Web comprises of so many things. Like I will tell you, web is not just only websites. You have websites, we have web applications, we have blogs, we have vlogs, we have wikis. So we have like podcasting, we have like widgets. Widgets are like gadgets. The job of web developer is not just a website. Vlogs, you know, video logs, huh? Video logs means YouTube channels. These days people use YouTube channels. Na? That means web developer's job is not just website. Web developer's job is not websites. A web developer is involved in so many things. You will learn about them. When you join the technology, you will understand what is difference between a website and a web application. What is a blog? What is a vlog? What are wikis and podcastings? You will understand about them. Here, I am not explaining those concepts. I am explaining about what a developer need to learn to become a full stack developer, what concepts you need to know. The overview. That means wherever you learn, you have to make sure that you are having knowledge of all these things. So because these are very mandatory to become a full stack developer. These are very much important to become a full stack developer. So first, as a web full stack developer, you have to start with understanding. So we have to start with understanding internet. What is the concept of internet? What is the concept of web? How the web works? What are the various web components? Actually, these are all different web components. Websites, web applications. What is difference between them? You will learn about them in the technology. And you access websites and web applications in a browser. Now, as a developer, you should know how the browser works. You have various browsers. You need to understand the browser architecture, how a browser works internally, how it is going to display websites, how it is going to display web pages. What is the architecture behind this? Because remember, at a general fresher level, you can expect interview questions like what is a browser? But at experience level, they will ask you about how browser works, explain the architecture, explain the concepts and components inside browser, how HTML is translated, how CSS is translated, how JavaScript is translated, how output is created and generated to the user. These are all the basic architectural concepts. Actually, in our full stack sessions, we learn all this. In our UI full stack web development, we teach people all these concepts detailedly about how a browser works, how the architecture works. We understand everything detailedly. So a web developer must have the clarity on these kind of concepts. So these are the basic first level concepts. So starting from internet to browser, he should know everything. This is the first point. This is the first concept you need to understand. I hope everyone is clear. Is it clear to everyone? Is the first thing is clear? Good, good, very good. Right. Yeah. So as a, if you are becoming a web developer, first you need to have knowledge of web, and you should first understand these concepts. Not only that, As a web developer, you need to have an idea on web principles. That means, remember, if you are building a website or a web application, anything related to web, you have to follow some standards. Because when you learn at school, college level, you will just learn how to design a page, how to create interactions in the page, some logic, some presentation. But in real world development process, just developing an application is not important. That application should perform well. That application should have full security. That application should provide all the facilities for a user, and it should be according to the standards. So as a web developer, you should also learn about the standards of web, about the standards of web. I I hope so you might have a little idea on that, but I will give an concept. For example, we are building a website. Suppose take an example of Netflix, or take an example of Amazon, or take an example of Flipkart. That means these are some people like Netflix, Amazon, Flipkart, all these people are there. So you have a Netflix web application, Amazon, Flipkart, we have web applications. When they are building a web application, yes, very good. When they are building a web application, do you know to build web applications, you have to follow some principles. To build a web application, you have to follow some principles. A web application, to build any web application, you have to follow some principles. Can you tell me what are the principles of web application? Anybody have an idea of that? That means to build a website, what are the basic principles to become a web? To build a web application, what are the principles of building web application? What are the basic principles of building web application? Anyone have idea about that? So do you know what are the principles for building a web application? Yeah, very good, right? Actually, when you are learning web development, you need to know the basic web principles. Do you know what are the web principles? Actually, to build a web application, so usually to build any web application, what are the basic principles we have to follow? What are the basic principles to become to build a web application? Yeah, it is, I will tell you. Actually, to build a web application, we have to follow the standards like we have to follow the standards like accessibility. Accessibility. So that means a web application should have accessibility. A web application should have internationalization, nationalization. It must have security. It must have security. It must have privacy. That means so security and privacy. Accessibility, internationalization, security, privacy, these are all the different principles. Generally, when you build a website, yeah, very good. When you build a website, you have to follow these standards. Generally, when people learn about web development, they know how to build a page, but they don't know whether the page is having these principles, means is following these principles. If you don't follow these principles, so then it is not according to the standards. So we build websites by following these standards. Actually, you will learn in the technology what is accessibility. What is accessibility? Remember, responsive is not a principle. To build a website, so principles are these. Principles means like rules. You have to follow them. It should have accessibility. It should have internationalization, security, privacy, and all. I will tell you a simple point. For example, do you know what is accessibility means? Accessibility means any kind of user must able to use our website. Any kind of user means people who are having difficulty in means people who are physically challenged, people who are visually challenged. So that means people with different disabilities also should able to access our website. Yeah, differently abled people also should able to access our website. Do you know? I hope you people watch OTT channels, right? When you watch OTT channels, do you know in OTT channels, in audio concept, they will give an option audio with description. Have you ever observed that? They will give an option audio with description. Have you ever observed that? No. In OTT channels, have you audio with subtitles? Audio with description also will be there. Not caption, description will be there. Have you observed? You can check some majority of the videos, they will give audio with description. You know, right? So audio with the description, have you ever tried that? Audio with the description means people who are having different disabilities, like suppose a person cannot see. So if a person cannot see, then how he can use Netflix? Do you know he can put audio with the description and he can listen to the movie. And in that, not only just dialogues, it also explains what those characters are doing on the screen. That means a person can listen to the complete movie and what actions are performed in the movie. Do you know this is called as accessibility? That means Netflix is following these principles and it is developing application by using those principles, following those principles. Internationalization, security, privacy, all such things we will later discuss when you join the course and you learn the concepts, you'll understand about them. So I am just explaining that developing website, web application is not about just building what you know. It is all about following certain standards. We have to follow certain principles. And actually, a web developer should learn all these principles. You have to learn all these standards and principles. I hope you are clear about the first concept. Everyone is clear? That means as a developer, you will start with learning. As a developer, you should start learning with the concepts of internet. What is internet? What is web? What are web principles? How web works? How web browser works and everything. So everyone is clear with this concept? Understood? That means you need to have good knowledge on the concept of web, basics of web, right? Good, very good. Next, important, after you have a clarity on what is web, what are the principles, then how we start building the web applications. That means how we start building the websites, web applications. Usually, to build the websites and web applications, actually, we start with the concept of HTML. We start with the concept of HTML. That means you have to learn the complete HTML language, which is used for creating presentation. And remember, learning HTML should be in such a way that it is not just learning about some basic concept. That means it is not just about heading, paragraphs and all. When you learn HTML, you should have a very good clarity on how to build a website or a web application or a web page with all the concepts. You need to have a awareness on from basics of HTML, how HTML is translated in browser, that is what we call parsing, how HTML presents the content, we call it as DOM, document object model, what are the various types of HTML elements available. Remember, these are all just overview, outline topics. In-depth topics we will discuss in a course. I will share that course content with you. You can go through the course content. There we have a complete discussion on more detailed topics. This is just highlights about the important things you should know. How to create forms, how to validate the forms like user form, login form, registration forms, we design them. Validating, verifying user ID, password matching the criteria or not. So designing layouts. Layouts means responsive designs. That means a page should adjust itself according to the device. I am watching on a mobile, it should fit to mobile. I am watching on a tab, it should fit to the tab. On a browser, I am rotating my device landscape, it should change into landscape. That means you need to adjust according to the device. So we have to learn how to create responsive designs. We need to learn SEO basics. We need to learn the concept of SEO. That means SEO basics. SEO basics are nothing but search engine friendly. Remember, developing a web page is not enough. developing a web page, website, a web applications is not enough. Making them search engine friendly is important. That means you have to learn the basics of SEO. That means you need to learn how search engines can find you and show you in the search results. Because somebody wants to join a course, somebody wants to order food, then he will search that I want best institute or best restaurants. Then when he search on Google for best institute and best restaurants, then how your information can go there? That for that, just designing a HTML page is not important, but making the page search engine friendly is important. So when you learn HTML, you should know all these basics. So HTML is the first concept you will start learning in front end. And when you learn HTML, the very major concepts you should be aware of is, remember, whether it is a Java developer or a .NET, PHP, Python, every developers in the front end, they have to learn all these tools mandatory. And when they are learning, they have to make sure that these concepts are involved in them. These are very important concepts for starting with the career as a web developer. So in the backend, you may choose any technology, Java, .NET or anything, but in the front end, these are very common everywhere. So in HTML, so these are the major concepts you need to handle, you need to understand. So you will start your career with learning HTML and make sure that you learned HTML not just like HTML, you learned with good responsive designs, you learned with good SEO basics so that you can make your pages search engine friendly. So that is the basic of HTML you should know as a developer. I hope everyone is clear with this. Understood? Everyone understood? That means my idea is to tell that not just HTML means tags. HTML means you should have so many important things to learn, right? Very good. Now, after as a web developer, as a web developer, after knowing the concept of HTML, after knowing the concept of HTML, you will move to learning about CSS. CSS, HTML will create the presentation and CSS will make the presentation more interactive, more responsive. It is going to make the presentation more interactive and more responsive. And actually, CSS related, so many concepts are there. And as a web developer at basic or experience level, remember, these are the concepts I am giving as highlights, not only for freshers, but also for experienced expert people who are working in web technologies. They need to know these things. And in CSS, generally, from basic CSS to, you need to understand complex selectors, how we select elements, how to design the grids and flex boxes, how to create various animations using CSS. Do you know a lot of animations these days are designed with CSS in websites? Suppose something is blinking, something is scrolling, something is rotating, something is animating. That means majority of such animations are designed by using CSS. CSS will provide you media queries for creating responsive designs. CSS will provide transforms for changing the positions, for changing the orientations. You can create modern layouts that can adjust according to the device. You need to learn about the concept of responsiveness in CSS, responsiveness in HTML, and you need to understand about how you minify. That means, remember, just using CSS, designing CSS is not important. You need to understand how you can make the CSS development ready, how you can make the CSS production ready. That means production ready CSS, development ready CSS. These are the concepts we need to understand. These are the topics we need to learn and we need to handle. So in HTML, some important concepts, and in CSS, some major topics. These are the important concepts and topics you need to understand. So in general, our course of full stack development, we learn all these things. We generally discuss and we learn all these things. But if you are learning individually, independently, you have to make sure that you need to learn all these concepts. You should be perfect in these concepts. Is it clear to everyone? Everyone understood the CSS things? I hope you are clear in both HTML and CSS things. right? Yeah. Now, the second point. So once you are good with HTML and CSS, once you are good in HTML and CSS, the next important thing is you should know about CSS architectures. Actually, in real-time projects, we use various CSS architectures. These are different CSS architectures. Actually, at experience and expert level, and from even as a fresher point of view, understanding the CSS architectures is very important. And you will actually understand while learning CSS itself. Especially these architectures are important in very large scale application developments. So generally CSS means not just CSS. We have various CSS architectures. We have like object oriented CSS. We have scalable modular architecture of CSS. We have atomic CSS. We have block element modifier BEM. So BM is one of the popular CSS architecture used in several companies actually. So when you learn CSS, so you need to know about the various CSS architectures, why these architectures are required, how these architectures are used, where they are implemented, and what is the advantage of using these architectures. Actually, architecture's advantage is making the content reusable, cleanly separating, easily maintainable, extendable, testable. If you learn these architectures, you will able to achieve such functionalities at large scale. When you are developing large scale applications, these kind of things you can easily handle by using understanding the CSS architectures. That means the main role of CSS architecture is to make reusable, to make extendable, to make easily maintainable and easily testable. These are the basic important things about the CSS. That means not just only CSS, you need to learn some CSS architectures. You need to understand the CSS architectures. And in real world development, these architectures are very important. And after understanding the architectures, you need to know the CSS preprocessors, because CSS will not provide all the facilities for developer. As a developer, all the facilities are not directly available with CSS, because suppose you are a language learner, that means you know certain languages. Usually, what are the concept of languages? Generally, what concepts are present in a language, programming language? Tell me. You are a developer and you are learning some programming language. So what are the basics of language? Can you tell me? What are the topics involved in a language? Very good. Means some basic to advanced level. Language means it contains variables, data types, operators, statements, functions, oops. Am I right? Right? So we have so many topics like variables, data types, operators, statements, functions, and all. Generally, direct CSS cannot handle everything. That is the reason, as a developer, we should use these CSS preprocessors. CSS preprocessors will allow the developers to use their knowledge of their programming. That means you can write a for loop to perform iterations over 10, 20 elements. You can write a if condition if you want to render something according to the situation. That means if this situation is matching, present this. If it is not matching, present something else. These kind of interactions and concepts cannot be handled directly in CSS. And for that, you need knowledge of CSS preprocessors. So yeah, you can write while conditions, you can write for loops, you can write conditions. So usually, so these CSS processors used in companies, we have post CSS, we have less, we have SAS, we have stylus like things. So, and very important is these preprocessors provide you language concepts. What is advantage of that? The language concepts allows to easily write the complex logics and make the content easily understandable to the browser. Browser compatibility issues they can reduce. So they convert everything into CSS, right? Browser understands CSS, but developers write CSS at higher level. We need all this. That means when you go to any higher level companies, if you say that I know just CSS, it's not enough. You should know about CSS architectures and CSS preprocessors. Even later, when you are learning highly advanced web technologies, in the front end, you need to use these kind of C processors because they save your time. They make compatible with all various types of browsers, and they help you in various instances. So to deal with CSS, actually in CSS, you have to learn the CSS basics, CSS architectures, and CSS preprocessors. Is it clear to everyone? I hope everyone understood this, right? That means after you learn HTML, it's not just HTML. You have to learn so many things in HTML, which I explained. It is not just CSS. You have to learn so many things in CSS, just I explained about the processors, about the architectures and the basics of CSS and everything. So you will learn HTML, you will learn CSS, you will learn CSS architectures, you will learn CSS preprocessors. And once you're done with learning CSS, then you will understand about various CSS frameworks. That means, like, you learned CSS, you can create good designs. You learned styling, you can create good designs. You can work hard and you can create any animation. But what is the point in real world development is, as much as possible, save the time. Don't invest a lot of time in designing something which is already designed. That means Bootstrap, Tailwind, Twitter Bootstrap, like these people, they provide you predefined classes. They provide you predefined components, pre-designed components. So they provide you responsive designs. Just you have to implement them, customize them according to your requirement. Suppose you want to build a sliding banners carousel, you want to build a navigation bar, you want to build a footer, you want to build some pop-ups, then you don't need to invest a lot of time in designing everything. These frameworks will provide ready-made components. We just use them and we build the application. So in different projects, they use different frameworks. So as a web developer in the front-end technologies, you should know about CSS frameworks. It's mandatory to understand and work with CSS frameworks because all technologies use, all projects use CSS frameworks because they don't want their developers to waste time in designing everything. They say that you get the design and you customize it according to the requirements and implement in our project. Don't waste time in writing everything. Tailwind, Bootstrap, Twitter Bootstrap, all these are very popular CSS frameworks. So in the front end development in CSS, it's not like which one is better. There is nothing like which one is better in a technology, because which one is better decided by according to their project and requirements. That means for some projects and some requirements, certain frameworks are good. For other projects, other frameworks are good. Because see, in my project, I need certain concepts. If those concepts are available in Bootstrap, then I will use Bootstrap. If in another project, the concepts I am looking for are not in Bootstrap, they are in Tailwind, then what I will do, obviously I will use Tailwind. I hope you understood that. That means there is no question like which one is best. Is it clear, right? So it's nothing like which one is best, right? So in CSS, what are the concepts you need to know? CSS basics, CSS animations, CSS advanced options, selectors, complex selectors, CSS frameworks, CSS architectures, CSS related CSS related preprocessors. These are all the important things you need to know about CSS. I hope everyone understood. But yeah, there are so many. There are so many frameworks. There are so many architectures. You need to understand this. So learning CSS is not just learning the CSS basic. You need to know so many things to handle the designs. In real world projects, you need all of them. So I hope everyone is clear in this. Understood? Is it clear? So can you tell me what are the concepts of CSS? That means can you tell me what are the main categories of CSS? You have CSS, some basic to advanced. You have CSS architecture. Yeah, very good. Architectures. So we have like CSS frameworks. Yeah, we have CSS processors, right? Yeah. Now, can you name some CSS architectures? Can you name some CSS architectures? Architectures. Bootstrap is a CSS framework. Can you name some CSS architectures? SAS is CSS processor. Yeah, very good. So we have CSS architecture like atomic CSS, object oriented CSS, PM. Very good, very good, very good. I hope everyone got that. Right, very good. Right. So that means dealing with CSS includes so many things. Very good, right? These are all different concept of CSS. These are the concept of CSS. Now, after understanding, that means as a front-end developer, you need to have good knowledge on the HTML concepts I showed. You need to have a good knowledge on the, yeah, you need to have a good knowledge on the CSS frameworks, architectures, preprocessors and all. And once you are good in this, after understanding CS framework, now you have to enter into the concept of JavaScript. And usually JavaScript is used in various places. Actually, JavaScript is used in various concepts, various locations. JavaScript is used for creating interactive user experience. It is used for designing plugins for applications. It is used to create serverless functionalities. It is even used in artificial intelligence apps. It is used in game development. It is used in desktop applications. It is used in mobile applications. It is used in single page applications. It is used in data visualizations. It is used in VR applications, virtual reality applications. So JavaScript is one programming language. So without that, you cannot be a developer in the modern generation of IT technologies. And learning JavaScript is not just learning the basic of JavaScript. In real world projects, you need to learn about very major concepts of JavaScript, which are very important from basic to advanced level of JavaScript. I'm not giving a complete concepts of JavaScript. I am highlighting some important points. So when you learn JavaScript, you make sure that you know about them. Like you know hoisting, you know closures, you know callbacks, you know promises, you know destructuring architecture, you know about functional programming, how to create the DOM, manipulate the DOMs, how to create asynchronous functions, what are the OOP concepts, how JavaScript IAFE works. IAFE is actually immediately invoking function expressions, how the event binding functional programming works, and what is latest JavaScript. Do you know the latest JavaScript version is ES15? ES15 is the latest version of JavaScript actually. ES is ECMAScript. So JavaScript is one programming language you need to be perfect in web development. So in future, when you are dealing with any kind of application environments, you need this JavaScript. As I showed you in the diagram here, it is used for websites, it is used for mobile applications, desktop applications, gaming applications, single page applications. It is used in interactive UX. It is used in various areas to handle even artificial intelligence applications related interface. We design by using JavaScript, we manage using JavaScript. And learning JavaScript is not just about learning about the basics. You need to have a good knowledge in very advanced topics. The topics like hoisting, closures, callbacks, promises, destruction. Here I mentioned only few. You have state management. You need to understand how local storage works, how session storage works, how cookies works. You have browser object model in JavaScript that indicates how to know the location of the client. How do we know the plugins installed in the browser? All such things are a part of JavaScript. Here I just given a highlights of certain concepts. Actually, in our course of web UI full stack development, we learn all these things detail. We discuss about all these things. And anywhere you learn, you have to make sure that you learned all these things, because you cannot survive as a web developer in real world projects and companies without the knowledge of these kind of concepts. So HTML, CSS, CSS architectures, CSS preprocessors, CSS frameworks, and JavaScript. These are all the major concepts up to the JavaScript. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Everyone understood, right? Yeah, very good, right. This is very, very important to understand, because remember, I am not giving you a clarity about the concepts. I am not explaining you topics. I am explaining you that you should learn all this. Make sure that you know all this to become a developer. Because a person who don't know at all any concept, for him, so these all concepts are like confusion. But our idea is to tell that when in future you are planning your career to become a web developer, you want to learn a technology related to web, make sure that there these topics are delivered to you. That is the intention of this workshop. I hope everyone understood, right? Everyone understood. That means I am not explaining you the concepts. I am not teaching you the concepts. I am telling you that. So make sure that when you are joining a course, when you are learning a technology, so because on YouTube, on websites, you will find a lot of tutorials. But what you have to decide is, are these enough for me to handle a technology? So means watching a YouTube channel, knowing about a concept, is that enough? Is that enough to work for a real world environment? What concepts I need to really know? That means not just what they show in few topics related on YouTube. So you have to make sure that these all are important concepts you learned and you have a complete idea on that, right? And in the real world development process, after understanding JavaScript, now we have another important is jQuery. Actually, jQuery is now being replaced with React and Angular like technologies, but several applications are still using jQuery. That means majority of applications are still using jQuery. Now, one of the major concepts in jQuery is JavaScript is a language. Remember, in real-time projects, you will not use JavaScript directly. So in real-world projects, you will use JavaScript libraries and frameworks. You will understand JavaScript libraries and frameworks. You will not directly use JavaScript. And one of the popular library of JavaScript used everywhere is this jQuery. And when you learn jQuery, usually jQuery teaches you how to manipulate the. Remember, jQuery main concept is write less and do more. Actually, JavaScript requires a lot of things to write. That means you need to write lengthy logic, but jQuery will simplify this. That is the reason in real world development process, we don't directly use JavaScript. We actually use jQuery. So jQuery advantage is it will allow the developers to write less and do more. So you will use a lot of things in jQuery. DOM manipulations, CSS manipulations, filters. So you will learn about methods. Ajax will teach you how to communicate with APIs, how you can fetch, how you can post, how you can handle various interactions. You learn about how to handle animations using jQuery. You will learn so many plugins of jQuery. So this is very, very important for a web developer in the modern generations. But remember, now jQuery is being replaced with React and Angular like concepts. But still, we need knowledge of jQuery, because when you look for job opportunities as a full stack developer, you will see almost every technologies, every requirement, they will mention about jQuery. They will ask about jQuery concepts, right? I hope everyone is clear up to JavaScript and jQuery. So JavaScript will provide a lengthy approach of doing that, and we will simplify this by using the concept of jQuery. Is it clear to everyone? Right. And now this jQuery is this jQuery we are replacing with React. The jQuery we are replacing with React. That means you need to, in the modern generation of web technologies, you should know about the concepts like React and Angular. Remember, once you join the concepts, once you start learning the technology, you will understand, because many people have a doubt like which one I have to learn. So is it React? Is it Angular? Which one I have to learn? Remember, there is nothing like which one is better. As I already told you, in software technologies, we decide the technology according to the project requirements. Remember, if you are learning Java, .NET, PHP, Python, you as an experienced person, you should know both React, Angular like concepts. It's not like it's a choice. It's not like it is a choice that you have to learn only Angular or only React. Do you know, if you are a developer like Java, for example, I will show you for more clarity. I will show you. See, let's take a go to Naukri site, because many people ask this. I will show you the clarity here. So this is the Naukri site, right? In this Naukri site, I am searching for Java developer. I am searching for a Java developer. And when I am searching for Java developer, you can see that in the Java developer jobs, you can see, better I say Java full stack developer. Yeah, you see in the Java full stack developer, because Java developer is only Java developer, Java full stack developer. Yeah. When we search for Java full stack developer like role, and observe carefully in the requirements here, let's see the requirements here. They are asking knowledge of JavaScript. That is okay. And I will scroll here. They are asking for, so Angular and React, both. They are asking for both. They are asking for both. Then it is not a choice for an experienced person. Remember, for a fresher, anyone is okay. Either you learn Angular or React, it's okay. But even for a fresher, if he have knowledge of both React and Angular, then he can widen the opportunities as a developer. He will get more opportunities with both React and Angular. Actually, React and Angular are not choices. Generally, people make them as choice. People say that, sir, is React good or Angular good? There is nothing like that. You need both of them. That means in a project, in some projects we need React, in some projects we need Angular. That you will learn once you start learning React and Angular. You can see clearly, no? In this, you can see clearly LNT. And LNT is asking for a Java developer, and it is asking this. And you observe here. So for example, so we have several more. Suppose you see a Java full stack developer, and it is asking React JS and Angular. It is not like choice, because our people usually make a choice. Like they say that, do I need to learn React is best or Angular is best? So that is not a concept at all, because React and Angular are both required in different projects. Some projects use Angular, some projects use React. And if you have observed all these opportunities, you see everywhere Angular, React, both are mentioned. For a fresher, any one technology is an add-on, because company thinks that, okay, this person knows this technology, later we will teach him another technology according to our requirement. So usually it is not a choice. It is not a choice. So you need to learn both the concepts, but freshers will make a choice, like with React or with Angular like concepts. What is difference between React and Angular? That is not the concept here to understand. Later you will learn about them. But in React JS, there are so many concepts. In real world project development, people who are dealing with React like concepts, they need to learn so many. They need to understand components, state management, lifecycle, routing techniques, higher order components, how synthetic events work, conditional rendering, state management using Redux, using material components and all. Do you know React JS? I will tell an example. So Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, Netflix, these are all designed by using React.js. They are all designed by using React.js. That means Amazon, so Amazon, Instagram, Facebook, Netflix, these are all React.js. So that depends on the requirement, how we use and how we build. In the front-end development, these are all the concepts you need to understand. So remember, this is, I'm explaining up to the front end. That means in the front end, we started with understanding. I will give an overview. In the front end, we started understanding about the concepts from what is internet. And after that, what is HTML, what concepts are important, what is CSS, what are architectures, what are preprocessors, what are frameworks, what what concepts you need to know in JavaScript, what is the jQuery concept, and React.js. Now jQuery is being replaced majority with React.js and Angular like concepts, right? So this is all the concept of front end. To become a perfect front end developer, these are all the concepts you need to understand and handle. Is it clear? Everyone understood what is the front ends related concepts you need to know? I hope you understood the concept, right? Good, good, right. So once you are, because you are dealing with a full stack development, once you know about what is React, what is a front end development, now in the back end, when you go into the back end, so the back end development, I told you, back end is about dealing with database application logics. That means we handle the data in the database. We get the data by using the applications, and we send the data to the user interface. We send the data to interface. And actually in backend, there are so many technologies to learn. Actually, if you can learn Java, you can learn Python, you can learn PHP. But people who want to learn Java, PHP, .NET like technologies, they need to learn language. That means Java people have to learn Java as a language, PHP language. They have to learn about Python. Python people have to learn a Python language. But there is another point. If you are learning JavaScript, jQuery, JavaScript, you know them, then for backend development, instead of learning any another language, you can use Node.js, because Node.js is completely JavaScript based. If you are using Node.js in the backend, you don't need to learn another Java or .NET or PHP or Python like in the background. Node.js is enough. That means Node.js doesn't require another language because Node.js uses JavaScript as a language. So if you are good in JavaScript, then you can easily handle the Node.js concept. In the backend development, actually you will start understanding and learning from the concept of Node.js. In Node.js, developers have to learn how to create servers, how to manage the file systems, how to handle the events from the clients, how to send a response to the clients, how to handle the connections with the database, because the backend, it connects with the database, gets the data from the database, handles all the CRUD operations. CRUD operations means create, read, update, delete. So here in the backend, Node.js uses frameworks like Express.js. Express.js allows to create APIs, application programming interface. It handles security, it handles routing, it handles static files. And actually, Express.js, Node.js, these are enough to design a complete backend. So application logic. Backend application logic can be configured, designed by using Node and Express. And why Node Express are good for the people who are learning JavaScript? Because they use JavaScript as a language. If you, of course, you can choose your career as a .NET developer or a PHP developer or a Python developer. You can choose your career, but the point is that you need to learn another language. You need to learn a new language. But this Node, Express, JS, these are all JavaScript based. It is easy to handle any level. You can easily handle when you are learning, when you are dealing with JavaScript. So this is the backend application architecture is designed by using Node and Express. In Node Express, a lot of concepts are there. I given a simple highlight here. That means you will understand how to create application, how to design application server side events, server side rendering, server side communication with databases, creating servers, managing servers, hosting application on servers. These are all important things in a real-time development process. And usually developers have to learn all that. And a full stack developer need to learn all this, how to create servers, configure them and handle them. Node.js and Express.js will teach you everything in that, right? So Next.js is a framework of React.js. They use Next.js. Those are other concepts. We will detailedly later learn about those things, right? Yeah. So technically, this is the application. Application is designed. And what is the replacement? If you are not dealing with Node.js, you can use JSP with Java. So you can use .NET. So with C# and ASP.NET as language and frameworks. You can use Python. So with the frameworks like Django. You have to use these various types of frameworks integration other than Node.js and Express.js if you are dealing with that. These are all application specific in the backend. So in the backend, the communication between the client and the database is managed by application and which is handled by using Node and Express.js. I hope everyone clear. Is it clear to everyone? Right, that means handling the request from the client, processing the request and sending a response. This is all done by using this technique. Right, good, good. So next important, once you are ready with designing the backend application, now how to maintain the data? Do you know actually databases there are so many types of databases. Generally where the data is stored in a database, and there are so many types of database. Again, people ask this question like, which database I have to use? Is it Oracle? Is it MySQL? Is it SQL Server? Is it MongoDB? Which database I have to use? Remember, there is nothing like this database is best than others. It is simply this database is suitable for this kind of requirement. There are so many types of databases depending on users, single user databases, multi-user databases, depending on data type. That means we have unstructured data, semi-structured databases, structured databases. You have discipline specific databases, general purpose databases, depending on data type. Say structured data, semi-structured data, unstructured data. So depending on use, analytic databases, operational databases, depending on the model, inverted model, network model, hierarchical model, multi-dimensional model, entity relationship, object-oriented, relational, associative, object relational. These are all database types. And remember, there are so many database technologies for these types. For example, you know, MongoDB is semi-structured. MongoDB is semi-structured. Oracle is structured. MySQL is structured. So MongoDB is semi-structured. For example, Excel, MS Access, Excel is there, CSV is there. They are unstructured. They are unstructured. We have, based on distribution, centralized databases, distributed databases, heterogeneous, homogeneous databases. Actually, databases, so many types are there. A developer should know all this. Actually, a developer should know for which project, which database is suitable. You cannot blindly use a database just because you know that. As a developer, you should learn all this. When you learn a database, first you should know for my project, which database suits. What kind of data I have to deal in my project. For that project, which database is suitable. We need to understand that. We need to design that. So, and learning database is huge. Learning database is huge. So NoSQL means it will not use SQL queries. It will use simple like JavaScript, jQuery methods. It will not use, generally databases use SQL as a query, means query language, structured query language. Without the language, we can use simple methods. That means several databases doesn't require SQL query. MongoDB is a non-SQL or NoSQL. These are different categories. And important, in databases, what you need to learn as a developer in databases, you need to understand. So how to create the databases, how to design the database models, how to communicate with the servers, how to handle the CRUD operations, creating, reading, inserting, updating, deleting. So in MongoDB, MySQL are one databases that we use generally in our node-based applications. Remember, there are so many databases, as I told you, different database models also there. So semi-structured, relational data also can be stored. So in NoSQL and relational are not together. NoSQL is related to which language you are using to communicate. And structured depends on data type. You are completely relating two different concepts, which is not correct actually, right? So usually what is it? NoSQL means which language you are using to communicate. Structured, structureless, semi-structured means according to what type of data the database can handle, right? So that is important point. And learning database is all about so knowing about these important concepts as a full stack developer. How operators work, how functions work, how constants are defined, how relationships are defined, how database models are created. These are all very important. So these are all very important. And actually, in UI full stack with React like course, we deal with databases like MongoDB and MySQL. We give idea to the developers about all these things. So in the backend, you have databases, you have application specific logics. Application specific logic, you write by using Node and Express.js, and database we maintain by using MongoDB and MySQL. And remember, after knowing the front end and back end like concepts, I hope everyone is clear in both front end and back end. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? So the front end and back end, what are the concept and how they are involved? Is it clear to everyone? Right, good, good. Now, another important is after learning all these front end and back end, this is not enough for a developer. So a developer need to understand various tools and utilities used in the development process, like how we control the version systems, how we control the hosting mechanisms, how you release the versions of a software, how you develop in a team-based environment. For that, we need version control systems like Git, how to install the libraries, how to uninstall the libraries, how to update the libraries. You need package managers like NPM. You need frameworks like microservices, MVC, MVP, MVVM like architectures to understand. You need bundling tools for creating a web application like Webpack, Parcel, White. You need deployment to understand how AWS, Azure, Firebase, Netlify, so many cloud deployments work. These all are the basic tools and utilities you need to know. And as a web developer, you need to have an idea on this. You need to understand all of these things. Technically, these are all the concepts of technologies. You need to understand all these utilities and handle these utilities. And once you are good in this, now you are a perfect web developer in UI full stack development. So in UI full stack development with React, these are all the concepts involved. And we actually, in Naresh IT, we plan the course with all these concepts. So we planned the UI development course with React with all these concepts. So this course will help you to handle and crack the interviews at even at experience level. This is not just for a fresher. From a fresher to experience level with any gap, any years of experience to crack interviews, these concepts are very much important. And we have planned the content course curriculum, everything according to this. What I showed you in this presentation is what you are going to learn in a course of Naresh IT as a UI full stack developer. UI full stack developer. I have, I think you are clear in this. I hope you understood this. We are going to start one UI batch. Yes, we will have some real world projects to understand demo applications, projects we will learn, we'll try them. So you join the community. We are starting a new batch. You join the WhatsApp community. We are starting a new batch. And in that new batch, so these all topics are delivered. UI full stack. In a coming week, we are going to start a new UI batch. And these all concepts are involved in that. Yeah, we will deal with applications. Remember, real-time applications examples only we deal with in technology teaching. We will not deal with any imagination. That means when we teach a technology, we will take all the real world environments. That means we will take a Netflix, we design a Netflix like clone. We take Amazon, we create an Amazon like clone. We will able to create all the real time environment designs. Where from basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript you are learning, you will able to learn, with real time designs only. Everything, every basic will be there. At the end, by the time you finish this, you will do so many projects. You will deal with 3 4 projects working in different environments. MySQL projects, MongoDB project, in the backend Node.js, in the front end React, in the front end jQuery. You will deal with all the front end and backend complete end-to-end application with some projects, right? So technically, these are the use. And remember, once you are a full stack developer, what are the job opportunities you can have? Usually, the job opportunities as a full stack developer, you can apply for jobs as a UI developer. You can apply for jobs as a UI full stack developer. You can apply for jobs as a MERN stack developer, because MERN actually stands for MongoDB, Express, Node.js, and React.js. You can even individually apply as a React developer. You can individually apply like a Node.js developer. If companies are asking for MongoDB like databases, you can even apply for this MongoDB. This one course makes you work for different types of developers. That means your job opportunities are widen. So you will have a lot of opportunities. You will be a web developer, you will be a full stack developer, you will be a MERN stack developer, you can React developer, Node.js, because you see in Naukri, when you search individually also, you will get a lot of opportunities. That means you are searching for MERN stack developer. You are suitable as a MERN stack developer. Some companies asking React developer. You are suitable as React developer, because you will learn everything about what is needed from a basic to advanced level. So these are all the opportunities for a UI full stack developer with React. Even you can means full stack. You can even apply for the jobs of MongoDB. You can even apply for the jobs of MySQL like databases. You can handle them by learning some additional concept. So these are all the requirements. These are all the opportunities as a developer you will get. When you search for these in Naukri, you will find so many jobs individually related to that. That means this one course make you suitable with different roles, right? And remember, learning the course is not important. Learning the course with real-time approach, real-world projects, real-time scenarios, so real-time problem-solving approach, so real-time templates, these are important. Learning about advanced concepts, learning about the concepts used in real-time projects and environments is important. Not just learning the course, you should be practically very perfect, which this course will help you to understand and work for high level in real-time environments. So keep in touch without this. So I hope everyone is clear with this. I hope everyone understood the concept of what is the UI full stack development. So this is enough for this scenario. That means my intention is to make you understand that learning a technology, what concepts you need to know. I hope everyone is clear in that. Huh? Is it clear to everyone? Right? Is it helpful to everyone understanding the concept? Right? Yeah, good, good. Because our idea is to just to make you understand that when you learn a technology, learn with all the good concepts so that that will help you to crack interviews. That is the main aim of this masterclass. In this masterclass is not just for making you understand about the concept of the technology. Yeah? So concept of the technology you will learn once you join the course. This is make you to understand about what a developer need to know as a full stack developer, right? What concepts they need to know. I will share this course content with you. I will share the course content. I will share the presentation so that you can later go through them and you can check whether those topics you are going to learn or not in any specific course. That will help you. We are planning with all these concepts a course. And if you keep in touch of our WhatsApp community, we will keep posting you on that. Okay. I hope this workshop helped you a lot in understanding the concepts. So are you clear? Everyone understood? Right? Yeah, very good, good. So our concept is just to give a simple overview on that, understanding the concepts. Right. Thank you very much for your participation. You can please leave the feedback about how you done, what you understood here. Is it helpful for you or not? Uh, our uh, our community, WhatsApp community will share. So we'll share the form with you. You can post so that based on your interest, we can conduct further workshops. Actually, in future workshops, we are going to conduct what are web principles, how these web principles works, what is accessibility, how accessibility works. I am going to conduct a separate workshop on web principles and accessibility like concepts separately for the people who are already learning the technology, because that will help them in handling real world environment. So those workshops we are going to understand. Yes, I already detailed course content will be shared with you. We will discuss about Redux, everything in React, and every concept you will understand. Yeah. So thank you very much for your participation. So, and looking forward to join with another workshop on some other advanced topics related to web in future. So keep in touch. I will share the course content and everything related when a new batch starts. So in the WhatsApp community, you can go through that. And if you have any doubts, you can please raise your hand so that I can get back to you. Anyone have any doubts? So anybody have any doubts? So you can raise your hand so that I can get back to you. Yes, Vinod. Yes, Vinod. Yes, Vinod. Tell me. You have any doubt? Yeah, WhatsApp community link is sent to you. You can join that and you will get all the information there. Huh? You keep in touch of that. Yes, Pawan. Yes, Pawan, you have any doubts?
Sir, Next.js will be covered in this UI full stack course.
No. Next.js is a separate framework. We will not cover that, but we will have an introduction to that because Next.js individually is a separate framework. All these topics will increase the duration of concept. So that's the reason here we will learn complete React end-to-end everything, but Next.js we will have an introduction to Next.js because they are all additional frameworks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Yes, Vijayendra. Yes, Vijayendra.
Will this course also include the interview preparation method?
As I told you, real world example means everything is related to interviews, right? How do you crack the interviews without knowing the concepts related to job, right?
Because this cracking interview is very difficult.
So, but cracking interview is difficult if you don't know the topics that I have showed you today. Understood, huh? Right? If you know the topics I showed you today, then cracking interview is easy. You know that, right? Is it clear?
Yes.
Ah, yes, Harsh Jain. Yes, you have any doubt?
Sir,
Yes.
how much time it takes to learn all these things, sir?
So these all actually full stack course is about 6 months. That means include React JS, complete React JS 2 months, and all the front end, back end 4 months. It will take 6 months of time. You can parallelly do if you have good idea on the technology. Then you can finish early by 4 months. Okay.
Sir, is it beneficial for us? Like I am like a Python developer, so I want to learn.
Of course, any Python developer or any backend developer, front end technologies are very important. No?
Yes,
That
sir.
means up to React JS, everybody have to know, right? All the concepts, even you are a .NET or a Java developer also. And additionally, you will learn Node.js and MongoDB here. Then
Yes,
not just as a Python, you can individually apply for jobs as a Node.js developer also, right?
yes, sir.
Uh, if you are a
Yes.
Python developer, can even apply for a MERN stack developer also, right? If you know Node.js and all, right?
And sir, one more thing, I love your like teaching style, sir, in depth, and all the concepts are very clear.
Yes, everything
Getting
we
all
will
the
go
things
very in
implement,
depth
sir.
about the concept, not just overview, right? Very in depth, we will discuss about everything. Huh?
So never seen like anybody teaching like you, sir.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Right? Yeah. Yes, Harish. Yes, Harish.
Hello?
Yeah. Yes, Harish.
Sir, actually, I have career gap with 6 years.
Huh.
Okay,
No,
is it?
no issues because even career back. See, these web technologies, you can even do freelancing, right?
Yeah.
Right? That means you don't need to work for a company also. You can do freelancing in web development. You don't need to work for company. So career gap, education, all these are not mandatory to become a web developer. You can individually deal with them. In a company, you can start your career as a startup because for UI developers, they don't worry about the career gap they have,
Okay.
right? They just consider you as a fresher, right? And you join as a fresher. With a career gap, you of course you cannot expect huge packages in the beginning itself, right?
Yeah.
Right, but as a startup fresher, you can just go as a fresher even with a career gap of 10-15 years experience also. That's not an issue, right?
Sir, is our institute can provide any placements?
See, we have placement assistants because placement assistant means so many our clients are there, so many our students are working in various companies. They come up with so many requirements and we post them and we guide them into that. It's not like guarantee, right? It is like assisting, right? We
Oh,
assist you in various courses, various jobs, because so many clients, so many requirements we are having, and we assist you. So, and you can easily crack with that assistance. You don't need a guarantee, and nobody should give a guarantee to you, right?
okay.
Right.
Sir, and actual and TypeScript is mandatory for
Of course, in React you will learn TypeScript. React with JavaScript, React with TypeScript, you will learn. I
Okay,
haven't
sir.
I haven't given you complete course content overview. I just given highlights, right?
Okay.
In the course content, when you join the community, they will share you the course content. You will get a complete clarity on every concept, huh?
Okay, sir.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Pawan. Yes, Pawan Kumar.
Yes, I'm a Python developer. In my interviews, they asked the Redux toolkit in React.js.
Now, of course, you will learn about them and you will use them in
Yeah,
React.js.
one more question is any difference between JavaScript and TypeScript?
Lot of difference is that TypeScript is completely OOP featured. It is strictly
Okay.
typed. It is strongly typed. So many differences are there.
In React.js, we use
Both
TypeScript, right?
we use both
Okay,
JavaScript and TypeScript both.
okay, sir.
Right? Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Shubham. Yes, Shubham.
Yeah, hello, sir.
Yes.
Sir, when are you starting this course from?
Mostly by next week. So in one
Oh,
week, it is going to commence.
and sir, the timing, what would be the timing,
Uh,
right?
Timing mostly it will be at 11 a.m.
Okay, 11 to 1 a.m., right?
11
1
to,
p.m.
11 to 1 p.m. Right?
Okay, sir, thank you.
Nothing. Yes, Mohammed.
Hello, sir.
Yes, Mohammed.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
I have one doubt, sir. Sir, after this course, if we need your help, will you support us or will you guide us, sir?
See, supporting means certain issues, certain concepts we can clarify, but we cannot give a job support to you, right?
No, it's nothing like job and all, sir.
Uh,
If we do any project, okay,
of
we
course,
need your help or if we need your
if you are,
suggestions and all.
of course you are doing a project, everybody does that, right? So
Yes, sir.
a trainer should support lifetime for his student. When he learned from you, you have some issues, you can easily anytime you can ping us, we will respond to you. We will not
Yes.
do a job support, we will clarify your issues, right?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. I hope if you have no doubts, then we will meet in another workshop session. So with another topic, if you are interested in that, you can continue, right? And if you have any doubts, you can just raise your hand. Otherwise, we can conclude this workshop. Thank you very much for your participation. Thank you all.